plane, to be honest. I think everybody should be able to get to where they want to go. Not going to be any upsets, I don't think.
Yeah, no, I think this is significantly even more forgiving than the last round. And Miramar is so big, everyone should be fine. I kind of just don't want a center circle again, because whenever we've seen those on Miramar, they've been very, very slow.
Yeah. I prefer seeing the crazier circles on Miramar, just because it creates more interesting engagements in rotation, you know, people pulling up on each other and stuff like that.
And even though, as you said, the rotations on Miramar can be very difficult, I almost feel like in a way Miramar also allows for easier, or I guess more possible outplays against the circle, I mean. Where on Erangel, not only is everyone so familiar with it, but the nature of the terrain, there are significantly like, this is a powerful position, this is a very, very weak one. The terrain on Miramar gives you at least a couple more possibilities.
Yeah, and I think that kind of completely flips come endgame. In Miramar, you see these compounds and stuff that become very, very dominant, and they control a lot of the terrain around them, where we have these interesting kind of like drawn-out late-game splits. But should be able to see the circle in a couple of seconds here. Pretty much everybody, I don't think we see. Wow. That's the kind of circle you love to see.
Yeah, I mean, we asked for this, and this is what we're going to get. Down towards the south, very few teams are already inside. No one's really gone for a different drop than what we expected because of the plane, but we only have Riot Squad, Rumblers, and then like United. Okay, once they get to their spot, they should be a good position in the circle.
I mean, United should know that they can come far south. If they know the Rumblers drop where they drop, they know that SSG hasn't done their Valdemar audible, you know, the east side of Valdemar and the terrain. United should know that they have a lot of space to their south right now. And likewise for Rumblers, also Riot Squad. Where they've jumped out, they should know that no team has gone close to there. So looking like we're actually going to see, as I call it, Taylor actually rotating a bit further in to the circle, maybe just dropping off for this, but I want to see Taylor J come south here, because it looks like Stab and I think would that be Stab and Shiru are all the way over in Leona. So I'm liking this so far. If they can try and get themselves a compound that, you know, they can hold through circles 1 and 2, should give them a good foothold in this circle. Yeah,
I mean, this was the same circle that United, in a way, won the preseason off of. Consistently southern Miramar circles on this the terrain, assuming it stays on that area, it doesn't swing all the way up north towards Genesis once again. Player 1 on the opposite side of things, they're also just now coming into Los Leones. They're going to be sticking to the city towards the south end so they can rotate away from it, assuming United don't try and block them in. But this, you know, it's the northern parts of the circle that I'm excited to see what weird rotations we see come into play, because whenever you see an edge circle like this, it blocks off some access points. You have, I think, maybe what, 60% of the actual radius of the perimeter of the circle to actually come in through.
Yeah, so the interesting one's going to be the interesting ones to watch will be Tempo doing their typical south wrap.
Yeah.
Obviously, SSD doing the west side wrap, which obviously Riot Squad are already down south in Valdemar. Obviously, we've got Vanquish off to the northwest as well, which could cause some problems for SSG. And then Wildcard, again, another team that favors that West Road wrap. So we could see a lot of fighting down on the West Road, but we'll have to see how that works out. Tempo should have a pretty easy way into the circle. As you can see, United actually opting to come back into Leona, so I'm extremely disappointed to see that. But Genesis already making moves around about the normal time we would expect to see them making moves. So Genesis actually could capitalize on the fact that United settled back into Leonas. I know they dropped earlier for the vehicle. They went to retrieve the vehicle and go back, but Genesis now, actually, if we take a look at the map again in a second, Genesis pretty much have a direct route south all the way into this circle, and they can get themselves, you know, a prime location in one of these hills.
Yeah, Bill Frost, you can already see him in position to try and, I guess, shepherd the rest of United to get into the circle, but they did arrive at that loose spot a little late. So one has to imagine that Genesis would beat them there if Rumblers doesn't stop them, because that's basically the two sides that Genesis are going to be driving through. United over here, Bill Frost, he's not actually looking. He's kind of just looting up himself, so yeah, I mean, I'm with you on this one. I think it's a little bit of a, I don't want to say conservative start for United, but maybe not as ambitious as one would hope given that situation.
Yeah, and again, Genesis now coming into arguably one of the best compounds in the circle. This controls so much terrain around, you know, in between these two hills. I also like, you know, heads up play from, I think it's actually Microfire on Rumblers as well, doing exactly the same thing I just said, knowing that nobody's dropped south and knowing the rotation tendencies. He's come down solo to that compound that now gives his team a great foothold in this first circle.
I'm a little concerned that Los is on foot running to a vehicle this time in the game,
Genesis
but
as well.
I think he'll be fine, but you know, it's more.
It doesn't look like anybody's watching this vehicle.
Yes,
from Genesis,
and it's more a concern of another team that's passing through due to their own rotation. But either way, he's going to get away with it. I guess he knew the timing, and it's fine. So, oh, well, now the shots come through. Couple.
But this is the thing, when you rotate through here, as you can see from H-Win's POV here, any vehicle rotating through here is just in the open for so long, which is why this compound is actually so strong, because you stop so many teams, you can damage them in rotation, they lose vehicles come down to, you know, half and 25% HP. They're unusable again in circles 3 and 4, where we see people, you know, wrapping or sending it in vehicles. So that's why I love this compound so much. We see Liquid play this a lot in PEL, and they just absolutely dominate.
What about the split by Rumblers? Because it actually looks like they're committing to a 2-2, 2 on the high ground, Los and Microfy, the remainers, down on the low ground, but towards the center. Could that maybe counter off Genesis's compound?
It could do. It's gonna you know, stop any freedom that they might have currently now when they're not contested. But the big factor for Genesis is if anybody decides to occupy that hill to the east of them. That's the one that really boxes them in. And right now we haven't got anybody there. So Rumblers, I mean, right now they're comfy in this 2-2 split. I want to hope that, you know, Lost and Microfy have got a bike or something down there, but...
This could be rough, and Demic are coming in, almost rubbing shoulders with half of Rumblers, and you can immediately see Cherry Poppins and Waldo just retreat off of this. We don't want to take this fight. In fact, the line of sight is not both ways. Those two on the north that are leaving right now, they can help defend the southern two, but there's no defense from Micro or Los if Endemic pushed onto... Rumblers right there, so they're going to retreat. They do lose a little bit of control in that situation, but they keep 4 up.
I like the call to regroup there. Again, not worth fighting over Circle 1 for that spot. It's not a dominant position, so I like the fact they've made this decision to regroup. Hopefully they can get an advantageous Circle 2 so that, you know, Endemic's position doesn't, you know, then be the problem for going forward into this game.
Back on E United here, they're able to slowly inch their way closer towards the circle. They're employing a split of their own that's actually quite wide, and I'm not 100% sure on the lines of sight between both halves, but they are on arguably one of the lesser contested sides. We do see player 1 in the area, and this is what you called out, Tempo Storm making that wrap towards the south end, so they could be contested eventually, but at this point, in this game's life cycle, in these teams, the hours that they put in, they should know, similar to what Rumblers did, that you need to know when to make the call to regroup on a split. You don't want to commit to those things. We saw what happened to the Genesis on a Miramar match when they maybe got caught a little bit pants down with a split, but it's still the early game. Nothing like that should happen just yet. In Tempo Storm, they are playing it slow, playing it conservative of their own.
Just to kind of follow on from that, it's never worth investing that heavily in Circle 1 unless you can guarantee the kill points coming out of that. Having a scrappy fight where, you know, it could be a straight up 50-50 of who's going to come out on top, that's when you want to see teams pull back. Whereas, you know, where Endemic crashed his 4 there, if they were in a position to advance onto the Rumbler split where, you know, 2 of them were still up top of the hill, then absolutely, that's the correct play. Commit to that as long as you can comfortably win the team fight, obviously, because those are free kill points that, you know, you don't have to worry about coming into the late game. You've also damaged a team that, you know, it's center circle with you. So I like those sorts of plays, but you're right. It's knowing when to invest and when not to.
Lazarus here, dodging some couple of shots by the Sonics. Sonics trying to hold up the north side. We were paying a lot of attention to the southern, to the sort of mountainous, rocky area, but we still have a couple of teams coming in on the flatter north end. The circle's about to close. We're going to see where it swings towards. If that island is going to maintain and play, and it's going to be a little bit involved, that river is going to be a lot.
And we've actually got a huge problem. As you can see on the map down, we've actually got Zampar on the picture-in-picture, but low-key actually rotating in between Tempo split. Zampar having to pull back east now because the rest of his team are obviously to the north, and P1E have occupied the compound at the crossroads. So this causes a massive problem now on the south side of the circle.
Yeah, where is Zampa going to go? They got to get into the circle before they take this fight because it's still so big. It's still so early in the game. You don't want to give up position just for a couple of potential points, but more transitional shots. SSG actually trying to punish Endemic. Them stopping up here is a little, I don't know. I kind of like it. I'm not going to lie. I kind of like it.
They're feeling themselves
yeah.
After last game, right?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Rightfully so.
Of course.
This is the early mid-game, you know, aggression we want to see SSG take. Because all we've seen this phase of them is kind of falling apart in rotation, losing people, not being comfortable in the late game, keeping 4 up. And we saw last game, even though that, you know, they ended up getting picked apart, Baja coming up clutch, but having 4 up in that top 6 situation, that's what we want to see SSG do.
Yeah, and they're in a nice spot to try and punish a couple of teams. I don't know how many kills they're going to be able to get, if any, but there's a little bit, you got to give some credence to the war of attrition in the early game. even if you don't get a kill, it still could affect you somehow later on in the game. If you have the shot and you can safely take it, go for it. Rumblers here, they're not moving too far themselves.
I was going to say, this is interesting for Lost to be that far.
Oh,
Roth pulling past. Actually, Uncivil going to get knocked out of his vehicle. That's unfortunate for Lazarus. They're transitioning through here. Roth and Kendo actually in a bit of a weird spot, so I can see how Lazarus wouldn't expect that. And this is what I was talking about. This area here, vehicles are driving in the open for so long. Kendo actually going to get knocked by a kickstart from a distance here. Kickstart getting a tag onto Roth as well, so this could come apart for Zenith very quickly. Alo's going to see that in the kill feed as well.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. That was a surprise kill onto Lazarus, but it's a rough position. But now Alo goes down to J-Sync.
Great shot from J-Sync there. Zenith now in a position where hopefully they can save their vehicles. I saw Roth get some smokes down, but Walt now looking for this confirm onto Alo. SSG, I think, have great sight lines over the top of Zenith, so I'm not sure why we're not seeing any peeks that direction yet.
They don't want to overcommit, it looks
position.
like. Yeah, and actually, Patron here, right up against the wall. It's not a free, easy peek by J-Sync or anyone else from SSG. They certainly don't want to fall off the cliff so early on in the game. Roth is going to try and make a rotation through field. It's going to be free. J-Sync, he's just dialed it. He wants this kill. He doesn't want it stolen.
Oh, whoa, get beyond the rock.
Nade's going to come out. Doesn't look like it's going to work, but it may roll down.
It could bounce.
Woo. Okay.
Okay, J-Sync.
It was close.
Good arm.
Yeah, it was. I like the attempt. Walt Jr., he's still pushing for it. He's kind of on his own, though. Actually, everyone from Zenith is kind of on their own, to be fair.
And actually, we've got Wildcard coming down, trying to come down this road as well that Roth is now parked to the side of. Actually, okay, we're seeing...
All right, Purdy.
We're seeing Lazarus do tempo things.
Oh, no! Oh, no! Ambitious gets punished, and Walt Jr. gets all of them. J-Sync is not too happy about this, but 3 points
waited
already.
So long for that
He
kill.
wanted it. He needed it.
I was about to say, Lazarus pulling some tempo strats there, investing so much to get Alo back up, but it actually ends up coming back to bite him in the ass.
Yeah, you hate to see it.
You really do.
Patron trying to get an angle onto SSG. How loud can you go if you're in Zenith's position, though? Because it's not a strong spot. I don't know what vehicles they have, and now they're going to have to move. I don't know what's going to happen to them at this point on. I can't imagine they're going to stay alive too much longer, but SSG, they got to move themselves. It's going to be a swing towards the east side.
Yeah, this is actually rough for all three of these teams. Zenith, SSG, and Wildcard now. Obviously, we have Sonics coming in from the north side. They're going to probably be held by Waldo, who's on this north compound, as you can just see on the edge. But SSG going to have to drive down the side of this hill. This isn't an easy rotation at all because of the terrain. And they've only got 2 vehicles as well.
Yeah,
this is the problem. If one of these gets blown up, they're losing 2 people for it.
Half their squad, and this is the Murado as well, which the horsepower up and down hills is not the greatest.
People can already hear them coming.
And it's the loudest. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Tempo Storm on the opposite side can already hear them. It's that bad, but they're able to, get a small little pocket in the circle. We'll see if the Rumblers punishes this. And they have the high ground, so they should be able to scout out and make another rotation if the shot's already coming through. Those guys are going to have to back off. They don't want to overcommit onto this. But I like this slowly easing into the circle. They didn't take the bait of trying to punish Wildcard and Zenith and stay out away from the circle
Committed
too long.
late to that, yeah. Right now, they're kind of playing forward as opposed to, holding the poor position there.
Ooh, Shrimsy versus Sonics.
Shrimsy taking down Keenan and Tony V here. So, actually, McCoy is going to clean up Keenan. I'm pretty sure they should get both of these kills. Ace Rin actually confirmed.
Another spray through! They're committing onto this! How is this happening? Shrimsy gets all of them! That's 4 points in the bag for Ghost Gaming. What happened to the Sonics? I don't know what led to that decision being made, but the Shrimsy, being a solo player out on his own, overwatched by the rest of his squad, get a good number of points.
I don't want to call this too early, but Tiggleton killed Wooly with a nade and then killed himself with a vehicle explosion. I don't know if he just tried to drive by pre-nade that shack. I'm going to have to take a replay on that, but the kill feed did not look good there at all, in whichever way you look at it.
It is way too early in the game to be making a play like that. The space station able to make their way in. And actually, look on the minimap. There's a whole a surround onto the Rumblers. So they actually are trying to take this fight.
Valiate, actually, yeah, doing a
Go on your flank, Valiate. Make it work.
Valiate doing Valiate things.
I'm a fan. They have the high ground above them. If
he gets Lost
over,
and Terry for free here, which I think he's going to. Lost has no idea.
He's not committing.
He's biding his time right now, yeah.
It's actually Genesis is putting a little pressure onto them as well, so he can't commit too heavily, but get the spray down. No, he's going to go for it.
Lost
gets one.
Oh, no.
But
I thought he knew where Lost was there. And again, that's the situation we've talked about, where Valier is off on his own, making a play, hasn't got the awareness or the information to know exactly where these players are. Lost trading it out is absolutely huge, because Valier getting 2 knocks there could have put Rumblers up against the ropes.
I don't know, getting that down could be something. It does stall out Rumblers' own rotation because they have to get the revive, and they're putting themselves in front, but look at Endemic. They've actually put themselves in the middle of a green sandwich, Rumblers to the north, Endemic to the south. And Hetro's got to hide behind a vehicle. We're going to see where the next circle goes. And once again, it's away from Space Station Gaming, over towards Player One, over towards Envy, over towards Low-Key and Tempo Storm. And that is up a hill for all those squads that I did not name.
I mean, P1E actually in probably one of the worst positions in the last circle, now in one of the most dominant positions in this circle. And actually, Tempo probably in a great position to set up some rotation traps here, with Zampa all the way down on the coast, and the other 3 set up on the South Road. So we're going to see Wildcard, Vanquish, United, possibly even Endemic go that way. But on board now with Waldo throwing some nades over. SSG now in a really rough spot because, okay. Won't talk about the kill feed, but we see McCoy taking some pop shots over to Riot Squad there. Not sure if Ghost are going to have an option to come down this valley. Stab actually getting some decent damage down onto Wolf, who's trying to transition into this Marauder.
Got an up on the vehicle and forces Wolf to pop out. And that's already 2 down for Endemic. Wolf, I don't think he's going to make it out of there. That, okay, we'll see if his arm is good enough, but actually Relo is going to get the trade, is going to stall it out at least a little bit, but it's going to be Leda who finds the angle onto Wolf. So that's once again Endemic down to 1 so early on in the game. At least he's in the circle. That's something to be said about it. But oh, Wildcard in return, they get taken out by Vanquish and a little bit of help.
And like I said, yeah, Tempo and Vanquish are going to be in a great position to pick up these teams transitioning south. Because of the way this circle works now, there's no real way to play edge unless you're already in this circle. So Tempo and Vanquish's split is actually pretty insane.
AJ now trying to run around, trying to solidify their position, but they got to get into the circle themselves. A lot of these teams still do. Ghost Gaming trying to punish the Rumblers on their own rotation. SSG, though, it's, again, a kerfuffle between all these different squads. Tetra goes down in the kill feed, but McCoy down to 1 HP, trying to dance around with the first aid kit in hand. On the low ground, Shrimsy on the high ground, but there's not a lot he can do with the shots from Riot Squad, I think, keeping him pinned, as well as the Rumblers. He's got no cover. He's got to dance with his happy feet. A smoke is going to try and defend a little bit, but the shots come through. I'm surprised he's not taken down just yet, but McCoy's healed up.
You got to spam that smoke. You know he's low HP.
Los is back onto McCoy. Let's see what happens. On the low ground, Vegas trying to find a separate angle. But the Blues coming in. These guys have to work fast. They have to work now. And even if they win this, where are they going to go? The time is not on their side.
And the problem now comes from this such a
McCoy!
McCoy shutting Lost down. Wow.
Sprays come through. Vegas as well. It's actually going to be VZ, but the Rumblers are not in a strong position. It is just Waldo, and he's going to hit the dirt. Annihilated by Ghost Gaming, who are still in a weak spot of their own, but they stay alive for another position. Zenith out in 13th place. A lot of teams have made it into the circle, and McCoy on the bike, trying to go up that hill. Now it's Space Station Gaming who are in, I think, the worst position right now.
But this is the problem. Rumblers invested so much there, and because they rotated as early as they did, they lost their vehicles in the fight to Space Station, I think. They had to come in on foot there, and Ghost could just sit there. They could just gatekeep them for the entire time.
Back onto Tempo Storm, already 4 kills. And Vanquish, you said, they set up the crossfire with Tempo Storm, but they have to move into the circle themselves. Finna, not a lot for him to do. Trying to run down the hill, but he's going to go down. He's going to go out. Vanquish out in 12th position. United able to make their way across the road, up the hill a little bit, and punishing everyone who wasn't there faster. Headshore goes down. Space Station Gaming out in 11th place. It was a hard run for them, but still not the best follow-up to last round. But now Tempo Storm pushing up the hill. They heard the shots by United, and they want to punish this.
This is a big fight here, because Tempo are actually still very split. I'm not sure what Zampa's doing on the far south side of this circle, whether or not he's just trying to control the road, but we're going to see Maluk pushing up first. Sharpshot and Sharky aren't close enough to Maluk to play, you know, a trade in this engagement. So I'm not sure what the game plan is for Tempo Storm here. If they just want to clear this west edge, but Zampa's position. Oh, okay. I just saw the map. I know what Zampa's doing.
You know exactly.
I know what Zampa's doing. Now that I've seen the map.
We don't call him Luke Goblin for nothing. But Maluk here, able to breach over the ridge. Doesn't spot United just yet. Waiting to see anything reveal itself. They're still going active. I mean, at this point in the game, this is when Tempo Storm turned it on, playing on that edge, clearing everyone up, but it's going to be Riot Squad who United run into. The nade doesn't find anything. VZ finds a couple of shots, but they got to worry about Genesis. Up towards the northeast. And a couple of shots from K-Mine. That's going to be VZ going down.
VZ getting absolutely lasered there. Riot Squad in a really rough spot now. K-Mine going to get the confirm onto VZ. Mystery and Protege now are going to have to fight two teams effectively on two different sides.
You got to fight these teams while pushing up a hill. It's not the best spot. You got to land your shots. Nerf drops Mystery. Protege trying to go for the trade. The nade's going to come out for the secure. And a defensive smoke out.
That's a good
by...
nade. Oh no, it doesn't connect onto Mystery. That's the thing though, Genesis were just waiting for that opportunity to engage onto Riot Squad, and at the time...
Oh, and here goes McCoy, the remaining Ghost player gets 2! How did he get those? Gonna secure them with the backup by Shrimzy. 10 kills for Ghost. A little weakened, but enough space to heal up, and now it's Tempo Storm trying to take advantage of this as well. Taylor J and Sharu totally split off from each other. Sharp Shot secures one more, and it is just Taylor. Can he make anything from what suddenly became a disastrous situation?
What just happened there? How was McCoy allowed to get that close?
There's a lot of angles that you got to handle. Taylor J spotted. Taylor J has found out that Sharp Shot with another kill for Tempo Storm. United down in 10th place. And Tempo Storm, 6 kills. It's the beginning of a sandstorm. Or snowstorm, or avalanche, whatever. The analogy was buried in there somewhere, but Protege...
The same thing's going to happen to Ghost now that just happened to United. Sharky getting a return knock onto Protege. Shrimzy is down. I think he's going to bleed inside the smoke, but McCoy's actually sticking the res.
That's ambitious, but I like it.
How are people getting picked off like this in this bowl?
I don't know.
Same thing twice.
Another revive coming out from the Riot Squad, but Ghost revive happens
first.
first.
They got Shrimzy up. Yeah, Shrimzy's got a nade out equipped. Tempo already looks...
That could be a good nade.
Oh my god.
They got to worry about Tempo Storm. Oh! The nade secures them. Riot Squad out in 9th place, but now Ghost got to fight through yet another squad who have even more players on their side. Just barely breaking the line of sight with that bowl, with that smoke. But this could be another nade in the pocket. And finds one. Shrimzy still alive.
Can everyone get away from this bowl? What is going on here? Literally, we've seen like 7 players die around this one spot here. Tempo going to push in, probably going to clean up Ghost here. Shrimzy's trying to stick a kit in the smoke. That Molotov looks good. There you go. I think that's going to be the burnout. It should be, at least. There you go. Zampa flushing... Sorry, Zampa getting the kill onto Shrimzy. Shrimzy flushing McCoy. But, a much better game from Ghost there. You've got to give credit.
Yeah, they got a fair number of points, and it was not an easy run for them. So they should be proud of themselves. But Genesis, still 4 up, only 4 kills. They have another team up to bat. It's going to be Envy. A nade already comes out. This one looks a little dangerous, but it's not going to find anything just yet. Profi going to back off. They don't want to commit just yet, but the blue is just about to start closing in. That's a dead body, K-Mine.
K-Mine just wants to shoot anything that looks like a person.
You got an itchy trigger finger. Let's go. We've been quiet. We've been too quiet this game.
Envy have been quiet, though. They've occupied this east side of the circle. Obviously, coming in from Leonis originally, they were one of the teams that occupied, a compound coming down the road that comes out southwest of Leonis. They haven't really been involved with this. They kind of just bided their time.
To be fair, they had a good week, too, by doing a similar thing. So if it works for them, if it works...
They're top 5 again, yeah.
So, I mean, it's not as exciting of a style to watch, but if it works, it works. Let's see what happens once a fight actually breaks out, though. That's really where they're put to the test. Another crate found by Low Key. A little bit of a trading of equipment here.
Are we giving Chubba the AUG here? What's that all about?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, the AUG, it's kind of a coin flip on if you like it or not, I've realized.
It's hands down the best gun in the game.
All right.
5.5 gun at least.
Okay, yeah, fair enough, because the barrel's the best, right? I get what you're saying. Anyway, back onto Low Key. I'm not going to give you a chance to retort. But, Fignottle finds the first frag onto Pat Caps. It's the down at least. Moody, is he going to stick the res? They want to solidify their position, but Genesis
hear this, though. Genesis know that there's a team around the side, and if they hear the gunshots on the opposite side of the circle, they can push this.
Terra's watching. He's going to pull up the nade. He wants to finish this before it happens. Pat Caps gets finished off by a nade, so that's going to be 3 up, 3 remaining for Envy. But Genesis, what do they do? They've actually slowly been able to make their way inside the circle without being forced to commit to a fight, but that may happen sooner or later. Interrogate still trying to send a couple of shots. No connections just yet.
I do like that, though. Envy getting knocked by Low Key. They didn't all commit to the south side to hold the push from Low Key. They still had members. Actually, Moody getting the knock onto Pax here. Fignotto hasn't got an angle. He's going to get the trade back on, I think.
What? How is Moody still alive here? Fig's trying to find the angle. It's going to be Lobes that does make that final connection and finish him off. But Pride trying to turn it back into their favor. The two remaining players of Envy.
Next to each other. Fig getting the knock onto Pride there.
It's a good opener.
Envy down to just 1 up. Terror is the last. Genesis going to push in, clean up Envy on the east side of their circle now. Genesis hungry for more kills.
Yeah, they saw that in the kill feed, and they pounced on the opportunity to flush out, finally, Envy. They know that Low Key are to the south of them, but the circle is towards the center, and they're making a smart wrap away from the danger up towards the northwest side. Do you think that they're aware that it's empty up in that corner, or is it just a?
I think they must know that nobody else could get in on this side, and now wow, we actually see Sharpshot getting the kill onto Fignaldo there. Tempo now pushed all the way up to the edge of this compound. Now looking to get some damage onto P1E as well.
Yeah, 10 kills, and they want to go for more. Nade's going to come out, cooking it, but can't actually make the full connection as a couple of shots from Lamplot, I believe, pushes him away. They don't want a full commit. They know that they actually have control of the west side as well, that it's relatively empty, assuming that Genesis don't make a full, 270-degree rotation around to that side. But they're going to slowly crawl up onto this compound.
I like this play, though, because Genesis can get up behind P1E, and as soon as Tempo engage onto the compound, it gives Genesis a completely free opening into the compound. Actually, why is Dietrich's watching this angle? Dietrich is actually aware of it. He's watching for this.
A good spot. He's going to fall back and make the call out. That could be huge for player one to turn this in their favor, but Profi is all the way up. Oh, no, the nade! No! Oh, H-Win! Disaster strikes! And now Genesis are down to 3. Another nade's going to come through. That one may be inside, but no, it's actually going to be David trying to find the headshot, trying to secure that kill and get that point for themselves. They did not technically earn it, but Lamplot's grenade is going to find it.
Wow. I cannot fathom how tilted Profi is right now after that.
K-Mine sends some shots. It looks like they spot out Tempo Storm, who are in a split of their own, trying to control multiple vectors and keep player one inside the center. It's the center, but, you know, it's in the middle of a bowl. The hard cover, we'll see how that plays out.
All the while, though, Tempo doing Tempo things. Look how much control they have over this Phase 7. No matter where this goes, odds are that Tempo are going to have the control of the next circle as well. All 3 teams opting to bounce into the compound now just means that they're stuck against the edge of the circle.
It's a good crossfire that they've set up nonetheless. A couple of smokes out to block the peek from player one while they take the fight against Genesis. But in the meantime, low-key, slowly crawling towards Genesis. A nade's going to come out. It's not going to find anything. Lobes isn't going to go for the second. But Chababa still watching the angle. They're down to 2, and they want to play this slow. But Genesis, what do they do now? I mean, you know, they're found out by player one. A couple of smokes deployed. They're going to try and go through the compound, it seems, but that crossfire from Tempo Storm.
But I like this, though. Again, they're working towards the same game plan. If Tempo Storm can open something up for them in the compound, they're going to push full force as well. Lobes actually get 90 damage with that nade onto Nerf. They're going to have to stick some red. Yeah, Aceman down as well. Good to the double nade onto Genesis.
Now it's just K-Mine. He's got to try and make something out of this, but he's squashed between 2 squads. Does he go for the 1v2? He does it. Another nade by low-key. Finds Genesis. They waited way too long in that position. Way too long, getting nothing out of it ever since the Profi team kill. But now it's player one. Still in a compound, but only 2 kills. Not a lot of points so far in their favor. And they're going to have to manage against both Tempo Storm and Low-Key. But Low-Key can easily avoid player one and try and take the fight against Tempo Storm.
But this is the thing, though. I've already said it. Tempo Storm set up 1 circle before every other team here. Now they're in a position where it doesn't even matter who wins the fight in the compound. Tempo Storm are just going to look for a couple of kills if they can, but they're already a circle ahead of every single other team.
Yeah, and you can just see their movement here. They're not over-peaking onto player one. They're sending a couple of shots. They're keeping the pressure, but they're not taking it as a full committed gunfight because that doesn't matter. Player one are going to have to leave that compound sooner or later. But it's actually going to be a 3-man push towards the east side. They've sniffed out where Low-Key are now hiding in and trying to make sure that they don't get flanked.
This ridge runs right the way through this next circle, so unless Low-Key make a play onto the compound, I'm pretty sure they're just going to be held off at edge here. Like, P1E haven't got any angles onto them. The only way that Low-Key can come is round onto the ridge onto Tempo Storm. And right now, we see the final circle posted. We've got that final point. P1E need to make a play out with utility now and not leave it too late.
I love this flank by Maluk as well. While the rest of Tempo Storm are focused on the east side, Maluk and, well, Sharky, they're trying to put pressure onto player one and to make sure that no one's going to just Zerg rush onto their position.
See the utility coming out for P1E as well. Decent coverage within the compound, but it doesn't give them a play onto this ridge. Tempo just has such a strong hold on it.
Whoa, actually, Sharky gets called out. Focus a little too heavily onto player one. That's going to be a down for Lobes. The nade goes a little too far. Sharp shot going to take the aggressive position. The blue on Low-Key's back. Where do they go? David finds another Tempo, though. This is all falling apart for Tempo Storm. Chubba goes down. Sharp shot's trying to go for more. Lobes goes down as well. That's Low-Key out in 3rd place. But Tempo Storm, 2 down. Sharp shot wounded. Does Maluk go for the revive onto Zampa? But no, it's the rest of player one trying to push over the hill. Maluk finds 2!
Oh my God, Maluk coming up absolutely huge for Tempo Storm there. Sharpshot's got his med off as well. Lampalot's going to confirm onto Sharky. Maluk and Sharpshot now, last 2 out for Tempo Storm against Player One Esports Lampalot. And they close it out. Wow.
It almost fell apart, but just the raw skill, firepower for Tempo Storm saves it in the end, a 14-kill victory.
Maluk, can you give me a smile, please?
My boy.
Give me a smile for that.
This is the Tempo